Road Trip. Narrated by the half Kalduri bard, William Oakleaf. Part 1. Lucius Hold. Lucius Hold, the shining seat of House Whitelight, one of the last legitimate houses of what remained of the Kingdom of Ulterac. For years, the barony had remained isolated, protected by a magical barrier conjured by the mages of Lucius, including its lord, Regis Whitelight. A necessary precaution, what with the undead monstrosities to the north, the countryside infested with feral worgen, and the other former houses of Ulterac, now known as the Syndicate, all of which could prove a threat to what is argued as the last jewel of Ulterac. The son of Lord Regis, Kylam Whitelight, knew that the barrier would not last forever, and that if they do not seek help, Lucius would surely fall. Kylam climbed the stairs of Lucius Keep, making his way to the quarters of his father. Lucius differed from the rest of Ulterac, taking inspiration from the tales of those whom had nearly faced death. Speaking of winged beings of clarity and grace, their architecture was grand and sleek, nothing at all like the rough and ragged cobblestone structures of the rest of Ulterac. Often Kylam and his mortal custodians would venture outside of the barrier, warding away encroaching undead from the barony's dome by using their necromantic abilities. Necromancy, once illegal, had become allowed due to the dire situation Lucius found itself in. However, necromancy would be used virtuously, morally, and once the dead have served their purpose, they would be respectfully put to rest. Atop the keep, Kylam approached his father, whom could be seen examining reports from his advisors. His grey hair and beard were a worn contrast to his son's gold and blonde, shortly cut hairstyle.
Dad.
Kylam announced himself informally. Regis looked up from his parchment, his worn face contorting as his eyebrow quirked up a few degrees, expectant of his son's arrival.
My boy, we need to talk.
Regis shook his head frustratedly, putting his parchments aside as he confronted his son. Part 2. The Wayward Son.
You think your old man blind, boy. I'm aware of what you intend.
Right. Because you've got nothing better to do than to dote over me.
Your mother wouldn't have wanted you risking your life.
Yeah, but Mama's in here now.
Regis shook his head disappointedly, pausing as an air of silence passed between them.
I will not have you go risking your life for some foolhardy quest for allies. The alliance of Lordaeron had fell long ago, and the kingdom is in ruin. Enemies crowd around our barriers, seeking to claim the last jewel of Ulterac for themselves. Our duty as lords of this realm is to protect our people.
Sitting around will not protect them, and your strength alone will not be enough to hold the barrier forever.
Regis stared at the young man, a frown pursed upon his lips. Not of frustration, but worry, fear. His was the face of a worn man, yet a loving father who had become deeply troubled by his son's sudden urge to do more.
Changing your opinion was never my intention. Merely that you temper your feelings with wisdom.
Regis then proceeded to step down, approaching his son before laying a hand upon his shoulder, patting it with a pause.
Should destiny speed your feet abroad, keep your heart tethered to home. Remember these words well, and let them be your guide.
Kylam was taken aback, silent. His father was not often compliant to his more outlandish antics, especially one that could put his life at risk. Though expressed reluctance and sadness, there was pride in those aged eyes. For the first time ever, Kylam did not feel like a boy to his father. In this moment, they stood before each other as men. Part 20. Hero. Long after their escape, Kylam had managed to wrestle control back into his human state, an effort in itself that was too much for his body to take. His wounds were still severe, and without the strength of his Worgen form to sustain him, he had collapsed into unconsciousness. He would awaken to the smell of smoke, his armor stripped and his wounds wrapped in medicinal bandages. His body ached as he climbed to his feet, his eyes adjusting and focusing as he made sense of where he was.
Take it easy, kiddo. You took a lot of damage back there. Relax. I ain't your enemy.
How long was I out?
A day or so, give or take.
So I see. And you are.
Name's Hero.
Hero. That's cliche.
Yeah, well, what's yours then?
Kylam.
That's the dumbest fuck name.
Awesome.
Hero looked completely smug as he handed over Kylam some soup. Kylam muttered under his breath, although took the soup gratefully, sipping quietly from the bowl, the two silently gauging what to make of the other.
So, Kylam, what's so special about you to have trolls and humans trying to kill you?
Hero looked him over as he ate, carefully taking in his features and the way he presented himself. There also seemed to be a look of astonishment, fascination in his eyes, Kylam noted. The Quel'Dorei was studying him, but he could not tell why.
Criminals and revenge, I think. Those men in masks are something of a reoccurring theme I've been dealing with. That troll, I think he's pissed off that I actually killed a bunch of his guys.
This caused the Quel'Dorei to lean in with interest, his eyebrow raising as a grin threatened to form upon his lips.
Looks like you and I will get along well then.
What do you mean?
Trolls and I have a bad history, you see. My disliking of them kinda got me kicked out of Silvermoon. And by the kicked out, I mean I kicked myself out.
So you're a blood elf then?
Nah, I'm a high elf of Qualphos. These blood elves are cowards who have forgotten why we waged war with trolls in the first place.
I thought the Quel'Dorei only dealt with skirmishers back when they ruled Silvermoon.
Yeah, and before that, they came close to nearly wiping out both your ancestors and my people out. Their continued existence today is an act of mercy. Interesting to know a bit of history, not often found in the common folk. But you ain't common folk, are you?
Kylam was taken aback. He could attempt to lie, but he was not in a state where he should be testing someone. Especially one who seemed highly capable of a fighter, as well as one who went out of their way to save his life.
I'm the only heir of House Whitelight, one of the last legitimate houses of the fallen kingdom of Altaric.
So you humans do have kingdoms now. Impressive.
Kylam seemed largely confused by this, raising an eyebrow. Human kingdoms are common knowledge. All of elvenkind should be aware of that fact.
Did you live under a rock or something?
Not exactly. Let's just say I've been on the world's longest power nap. Over 3,500 years? Probably a couple hundred more than that.
This information was bewildering to the young lord, unable to comprehend what he was saying. Surely that was impossible, though the world so far had never ceased to surprise him.
Where are you going anyway?
Looking for allies against, well, those people you've just met.
So, there are more of them then? Well, if you're looking for allies, I'm kind of in the need for allies myself. I've been told that there are more of my kind, traditional high elves, in some kingdom called Stormwind? I was looking to head south to find it, but I'm pretty much wandering around at this stage. You help me find this place, and well, I'll help you fight those bullies in the orange masks.
Kylam's eyes lit up. For the first time on this journey, there was a glimmer of hope and progress.
You would help me with my plight?
Sure, why not? You put a bunch of those trolls down to piss off the big one. That's more than enough reason for me to like you.
Thank you, hero.
Don't thank me yet. We need to get to the kingdom first. Get your beauty sleep, and we'll start making tracks after.
Hero rolled upon his back and lied down against the grass. Despite the cold, it was clear that he was right at home sleeping in the outdoors. Thank you so much for listening to this short sample of the audio story, Road Trip. As of right now, we're still in the process of making it all. That being said, we need your help. This being born out of the love for the Warcraft universe and a community-involved project, we want you guys to voice some of the characters, perhaps even recurring characters, for future stories, including this one. So bear with us. We will have the script out, completed, as soon as we can. But we're very passionate about getting this thing out and getting you guys involved. So stay tuned, follow the Half Kaldori Bard on Instagram or Twitter, and further details should be out soon. Thank you so much, and safe travels out there.